In this chapter, we'll consider the issues of gender and age. We'll explore the idea of gender being a social construct, and we'll think a bit about how culture impacts our concept of gender. We'll also look at global issues and how women are minority groups, and how gender inequality is built into the fabric of society. And we'll also look at political issues regarding gender. This chapter covers age as well, and we'll be considering how different cultures have different views on what's appropriate at certain stages in life, and how the elderly are treated. When most people think about how males and females are different, the first thing they tend to think about is biology. Because we break males and females into these two biological categories, we don't think instantly about how culture shapes our notions of males and females. But sociologists would think in terms of how culture informs us on what it is to be male or to be female, and that our social lives tell us how to do gender. Different cultures tell us what their ideas of male and female are. These are cultural standards that vary from group to group. There is no one characteristic that all societies agree upon that males and females should exhibit. We make ourselves appealing to others by displaying our personal group's standards. While gender is a cultural construct, sex, on the other hand, is biological. When a person has an XX chromosome, they are considered genetically female, and when a person has an XY chromosome, they're considered genetically male. Understand that in about 1 in 2,000 people, the outward genitalia does not match their chromosome makeup, so that the biological external characteristics and genetics don't always align. Most sociologists focus on the fact that gender is learned and is not biological. It's also worth understanding that gender identity, gender expression, and sex are 3 different categories. To understand these different categories, it helps to look at Sam Killerman's diagram of the genderbread person to see these different components of sexuality. We learn the expected gender social roles through many different types of interactions. Children watch their parents and mimic gender-appropriate behaviors. This slide from the popular children's book series that was used in first grade a long time ago, the Dick and Jane series, shows expected everyday interactions of stereotypical roles. Your text discusses the medical accident that occurred in 1963 when 1 of 2 identical twins were involved in a medical accident, and the parents decided the boy should be raised as a girl. Brenda underwent surgery and hormonal therapy before and during puberty. At age 4, the mother saw the little girl as very neat and tidy and highly feminine. But Brenda, who was genetically a boy, started exhibiting more masculine associated traits, mimicking her father and her brother. At age 14, Brenda's parents told her about the changes they had determined would be beneficial, and it was a relief to Brenda to realize why she did not feel like a typical female. We also know that higher levels of testosterone tend to be present with more aggressive males, as indicated by college studies, as well as studies of sex crime, and also the Vietnam study that was cited in text. However, biology does not explain all the differences in different behaviors. It appears that social class is a factor, in that men from lower classes with higher testosterone levels are more likely to get in trouble with the law, do poorly in school, or mistreat women than high testosterone men from higher social classes. Thus, it does appear that socialization, subcultures, life goals, and self-definitions are significant affecting behaviors. In 1985, the U.S. government began a health study of Vietnam veterans of 4,462 men. Testosterone levels were measured, and it was found that those veterans with higher testosterone levels when they were boys, they were more likely to get in trouble with parents and teachers, to become delinquents. As adults, they were more likely to use hard drugs, to get into fights, to end up in lower status jobs, and to have more sexual partners. Those who married were more likely to have affairs, to hit their wives, and to get divorced. But as I just said in the previous slide, social class was also a factor in these outcomes.